Okay, Rob, you've talked a number of times about how important it was to come out ahead on one of these tight games. Was that what you had in mind at Gloucester, or not necessarily?
Well, it's interesting. I said during the week, I said to the boys, don't worry too much. We're going to come through a war at some stage, and it'll be really good for us. And then from being pretty comfortable, we turned it into a bit of a war. So, you know, for whatever reason, we've managed to come through one. So, obviously very pleased. But I think we have shown really good form and really good fighting spirit away from home on regular occasions. What we have to do now is transfer it into our home form, and no better test than Quins on Sunday. So, massively pleased with last Friday. An important win. 4 very, very important points for us. You know, it just shows, you know, you steadily collect some points at the start of the season, and you know, you can be there in 4th place. What we have to do now is maintain that form for as long as we can, and as I said, no better opportunity than to take on a Harlequins team who we always have very good games against, particularly here on Sunday, and I'm obviously hoping for a big performance from everybody.
What do you expect from Quins?
Well, we know they're dangerous. You know, they're well known for their high tempo game, but you know, they can also grind things out. I mean, they don't have the success they've had because they're one-dimensional. Obviously, they've got a number of key players who can break the game open for them, and we've obviously got to keep a close eye on those guys. But it's a bit like any game. You know, there are multiple threats. They'll add something new to their game for this weekend. That's what they're very good at chucking something a little bit unexpected at us. They've caught us a couple of times in games with that. So we've talked a lot about being alert and being aware and just trying to keep it focused for 80 minutes. But that's always the challenge, and it gets tougher against the better teams. You know, that's just the way it is. But for us, I think what we've done very well this season, and we did it very well in pre-season as well, was focus on ourselves, what we want to achieve, the way we want to play. That's worked very well for us so far, and we're not going to change too far away from that strategy this weekend.
2 very good wins, 1 narrow defeat, and then you've got the likes of Jack Noel and Phil Dolman knocking on the door. How difficult does all that make life for you?
It doesn't make life difficult to have good players. You know, it's what we want to be able to do. I mean, I think we're in a nice position this season, which is different to other seasons where we've normally started with pretty much everybody available, and we slowly get guys knocked off with injury, and as the season goes on, and it's felt a little different this year. We had a good squad available to us to train to start with. We then had some of our signings arrive a little later, and they've settled in over a period of time. And now, as we're getting through the league programme, obviously the guys who had operations, guys who are recovering from injuries at the end of last season, are slowly going to become available. And I think by the time we get into our next Premiership block, we'll pretty much have everyone available, which is obviously going to be fantastic news. So for us to be collecting points, and the squad's slowly getting stronger, and some of those players coming back being notable players within our team, as you say, like Jack, like Phil Dolman, like Dean Mum, who should be available by our next block. Another young guy like Luke Cowan-Dickey becoming back available. You know, it does feel nice. And you know, Tom James and Fetu Varnicol have been training flat out this week after they've been now back in rugby action for a couple of weeks, and all of that just does make it feel a little bit more competitive in training, and as you say, a little bit more comfortable, that we can ride the odd bump and bruise a little bit easier than we could have probably done 2 weeks ago.